Welcome to another inspiring episode of the Elite Expert Insider Podcast. Hosts Melanie Johnson and Jen Foster are the owners of Elite Online Publishing. They're both Wall Street Journal, USA Today best-selling authors. We're really glad you're here because this podcast was designed for you. Meet industry experts that share their secrets and strategies. Get successful results for your business in money, relationships, health, and your life. Each episode is going to inspire you to take action towards reaching your greatness.
Hey everyone, it's Melanie Johnson. Welcome to another great show here. Listen, we have been podcasting for about 8 years when no one really knew what it was. Podcasting has become the norm for businesses to get their word out there, their name out there. So we wanted to bring you another expert, and her name is Tamara Thompson, and she is all about the podcast. But so many people forget that you shouldn't just put your podcast there and let it sit and roll. There are so many other things you can do with it. We talk about repurposing your content into a book and your book becoming a podcast. So I wanted to bring you someone, and Jen wanted to bring you somebody who is a super expert in this field of how to repurpose your content on a podcast and just blow it up. So stay tuned. Tamara, thanks for coming today.
Thank you so much for having me, Melanie. I really appreciate it.
So tell me a little bit, how did you get involved in the podcast field?
The whole creation of having a content marketing agency, it's from long form content created into micro content, right? So no matter what type of content that is, a little bit about my background. Before founding this agency, I had created a production company years back. And so we scaled that company and then built a second company. And the direction of that company, what actually was inspired, was years back when I had directed films, the documentaries and things like that, and YouTube blew up. And we took from films that I had directed that were picked up by and acquired by Indie Flicks, and I was speaking at all these film festivals and things like this. It's over a dozen years ago. But what the direction that inspired this company was the fact that we had that long form content, which was documentaries at the time, actually turn around and take off on YouTube. We had micro content from the documentary, so snippets, teasers, take off. Yeah. And one of the films took off on YouTube and had over 888,000 views in a matter of 10 days. And so what inspired that, after that, I wanted to know how I could help more people, more entrepreneurs and more business owners and CEOs and experts do the same thing. But did it have to be documentaries? No, of course not. Like, what other medium out there was more consistent, which actually picked up even more in the past 3 to 5 years, of course, with podcasting. And so that story always stuck with me. We always did stuff for YouTube, and that was our big thing because we want to create data-driven content. So we always create a direction of our podcast topics and titles so people can actually find your podcast on YouTube and Google. So that's our main focus for our podcasts, for our clients. And so from there, it literally was like an aha moment. When we started this agency, I'm like, oh my gosh, that whole story stuck with me, long form content, short form content that went viral, got geeked out on YouTube and stuff like that. And I was like, how can we help other people do this? Or how can we do it for other people? And so we turned around and shifted that and started a different company. And then we turned around and created Broadcaster Authority for that purpose. And so that's really how we got into podcasting, because we actually had a client that was a video client at the time. She said, you know what, why don't you do this? And we said, let's try it. So we did it. She was our first client from our previous company. Turned around, it took off. And then, from there, ever since was because everybody was starting a podcast on that side. But it was a great opportunity, and podcasts aren't going anywhere. We have a lot of cool things coming up within our company and acquisitions that I'm doing right now. Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes, but that's why we got into podcasting.
And I love how one thing, you're doing broad-based media content, right? Creation and things. And then one little niche of your company has turned into a whole nother business, so to speak. So you just don't know what, and I love that you were innovative and able to shift. So that's a good lesson to everybody to be able to shift, to be able to take that one opportunity and turn it into something. That's what your customers want. I really like that. How do you know how to pick the content? I struggle with, okay, we're doing a podcast right here. how do we pick the clips and be strategic of the content to go out there? It just seems daunting to someone who's an entrepreneur. I'm sure they can find someone to do it, but not everyone is good at it. What should they be telling them? What should they look for? Should you have a plan ahead of time before you create the podcast, so you have that in mind of, hey, these are going to turn into 20 TikTok videos and 3 Instagram reels?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, Melanie. So normally with our flow for our clients, so we help with the direction first. So we'll brainstorm with our clients on the overall topic of the podcast first, because a lot of times people are like, man, I'm having struggles just trying to figure out, what I should be recording first off.
Yeah.
And so when they do that piece of it, we do a brainstorming tab and they just brain dump on this tab on this market research sheet with our team. And they say, I'd like to maybe talk about this, or these are some topics I'm thinking about. And then our SEO team reverse engineers and takes those topics that they would like to talk about. And when we start doing the market research on what people are searching for, keywords that are similar to those topics. And then we say, hey, great. So let's say like one of our clients, his keywords, one of his topics is how to buy a business, right? So we know in the back end of his YouTube channel, that search term is in the top 5 terms of people searching on his YouTube channel. We know those videos take off. We know that those videos take off on his TikTok, right? What we do is we say, now that you're the expert, how many steps are going to be in that video of how to buy a business or buying a business? And so he would turn around and create 4 or 5 tips. So then those 4 or 5 tips are going to be the micro content that's created from that piece of that video, right? Because when you put that over onto Instagram Reels or Facebook Reels or even TikTok, we know on his channel specifically, because we pay attention, that buying a business is the keywords that take off in the search form in the top of his TikTok, and his audience resonates with that. So whenever we start utilizing that, we start putting those hashtags and that in the keywords and the thumbnail, everything. So YouTube, Google is always watching and listening. So it's important for people to actually say out loud in the beginning of their episode, those keywords. Like today, we're going to be talking about how to buy a business, right? So those things, like every platform's listening, and no matter if you think so or not, it is, but that's what things start taking off. So we help provide that direction. They collaborate with how many tips they want to share within that topic that we helped with. And then those specific points are things that should be taken, right? So if you're having like a short form conversation, something maybe even more like casual, like coffee chat or something like that, it might be a little bit different, of course, right? But there's ways to figure out the main points of what someone's talking about. If you ask me a question, that question could be the lead of a short form content, and then share that tip that I shared. So those are the points that really get going. It really depends on the form of what type of podcast it is, but that's normally how we structure ours with our clients.
I like that, because you're really thinking through the content before you create the content. And knowing that you have that in mind, that you're going to have clips and coming up with those steps. And you can do that even as we're doing our interview, that you just gave us great little tips right there that can be turned into a micro repurpose.
Exactly.
And then how do you feel like, how do you know which platforms to use? TikTok is really trending right now, but does that convert to clients as well as views or blow you up? Does it depend on the business you have? Should you be doing all of it, like YouTube shorts and Instagram reels and TikTok? Should it be you everywhere now, so to speak? Or is it just focus on one?
Yeah, so we always tell our clients, if they're a fan of a specific platform that they want to be involved with, we say, hey, you focus on that if you at all want to be involved with any social media, right? Because the idea of working with our agency is the fact that a lot of them are hands-off CEOs. They're companies that have teams that thrive without them at this point. They're enjoying their lives. They're doing things. They're not on social media 24/7, right? The idea is to be omnipresent across all platforms. And in a lot of my keynote presentations, I spoke at TNC about this and Icon and the War Room recently this last quarter. And I shared, how the fact is that the way they looked at it was 2021, it was like, oh, my clients aren't on TikTok. 2022 comes around and they're like, oh, maybe I should get on TikTok. 2023 is coming up. Oh, we're all left in the dust. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. Yeah. Because just because you don't believe, that's a mindset thing. There's a lot of people on TikTok, right? And one of our clients, he's a hospitality influencer and he's had his own TV show and things like that. So he has influence already. And he's, do you think that I could take off on TikTok? And I was like, completely. I was like, you have influence. You have very specific niche in the hospitality industry. And I'm sure your followers would love to join you over there, but TikTok is a virality like social media platform that actually wants people to take off because they want to get people more over there and hyped up. I see it in the future becoming more of a paid to play program, but right now it still has that virality aspect. And I said, do this. These are the topics that do well on your YouTube and your podcast. Take off, do these topics. He's like, okay, I will. So we did little short form content that matched the topics that took off on YouTube and his podcast. He had several that took off within the first week. He had one that was like 1.3 million views. So he started to take off and appear on the For You page of TikTok. And I said, hey, create another one that's very similar to that one. He's okay, fine. Did that. Next day we posted that one that matched another kind of topic or playlist on his YouTube. And that one took off, had 586,000 views in less than a week. And then it started taking off. So in less than 60 days, he went from 200 subscribers to over 40,000 subscribers in 60 days. Wow. And then he turned around after that, and had people reaching out for speaking gigs and opportunities. And these were people that were like executives and people that had budgets for higher end engagements because he's a high end speaker. So makes the big bucks, right? On that side. So he ended up generating over 6 figures just from that in that 60 days. Wow. So, but he was like, oh, I didn't realize people were watching me, But yeah, people are watching you. You got marketing directors from big corporations watching. Like there's a lot of people on there that are looking for business related content. So same thing has happened for several of our other clients too. Just like, whoop.
Think about that it's free. Really, they're creating the content costs them nothing. And just to upload it, it really doesn't cost anything, but it is knowing that back end, picking those keywords, picking those topics that are trending, finding something. We have gone on TikTok, but it's like kind of a struggle because publishing, not many people are searching for. They are, but how to publish a book. So it's finding that of your business and your niche and really taking the time of either you or hiring someone like you to do that research for you. So if you feel like you have an obscure business, how do you get that known and searching for that? How often do you think you should be posting something on these platforms?
Yeah. So what we always suggest, at least Monday through Friday, at least once a day. And we always suggest to our clients, post something fun on the weekends, post something that relates to, if you want to, something yourself. That's relatable as well. But depending on the types of people that work with us in certain packages, we'll suggest, hey, this upper package, we're over there working and they're posting like 2-3 TikTok reels a day because it's really a consistency factor, a frequency factor, and a paying attention to detail factor on what's actually taking off, what's trending. And it is a lot of work to just even do the research to see how trends change really fast, but certain keywords and hashtags are consistent for a good 30 days anyway. So it's good to just see what's taking off on those specific accounts. But it's an up level of frequency, but that's why we always say, hey, you don't need to do it yourself. It's really about just getting yourself out there, the consistency factor, somebody can help you do it, the research, telling you direction, all that stuff can be delegated out to some like an agency like ours or a freelancer or a team member in-house, whoever it is, they can help you grow without you actually having to do the work. So that's what's important for CEOs. So
I think that's so important because so many solopreneurs are trying to do everything themselves and they're like, but I just don't have the money to do it. But then if they take that time, invest that money, and that frees up their time to create more sales and grow the business and do other things because that's going to help grow it. That was eye-opening to me that you said, hashtags are usually good for up to 30 days. I'm like, holy moly, only 30 days. Like you got to do, it's like a constant thing that you're constantly having to do to find the trends and things because trends do change pretty fast.
They do. Yeah. And to be more specific on that, it's more like hashtags on like specific trends, especially that are going on. So there'll be specific hashtags that work consistently over time, like TikTok marketing, TikTok hospitality, things like that. So some of those will be continuous, but it really is if you're trying to jump on the trend wagon, right? Yeah. We share some tips with our clients where we can leverage trending music and not have it be the trending music. You can bring it down so low that you populate in trends. And we share that tip that all of a sudden you're out in the trending world and you're not dancing to a beat or something. You're not like doing something silly or whatnot, but you start to actually populate in the trends because you're using the trending music. So there are different tricks and tips to do stuff like that. So people are like, oh, wow, we'll use, what was it? Meghan Trainor's song that was trending on TikTok. we had some relationship coaches that we worked with, and their TikToks just went whoop because we utilized her music all week long because it was trending. And they might not be their ideal clientele, but they started to get more views that pushed them to be viewed on the For You page. So there's just little things to pay attention to. Like, what's that trending song? What's that trending theme? Use those hashtags and stuff like that in that current week. So it's just about
and I would say, like, trying to sell a product or a service, like a product you can demonstrate and have the music behind it. But when you're trying to do something that's speaking to give a message, then maybe it's a little harder to use the music. And I had the algorithms explained to me yesterday for TikTok. It's what happens is TikTok will send your video out to 100 people. They respond well and are liking and viewing it. Then they'll go,
to 400
okay, we
people.
like this. Then we're going to send it out to we'll send it out to 200 people and see how that happens. So just getting that algorithm going, and then that's how it spikes. They just keep sending it out to a broader and broader audience. They like what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah. And you can bring the music down to 0, so it doesn't even appear at all, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to take off on that. But you're totally correct. That's why you see an average of people that have 60 to 100 views, and then the next jumps is between 300 to 400 views, like that they're going through that step process. Next is like 1,000 to 2,000 views. So you're like, oh, why'd that one take off? And then all of a sudden it's like 25,000 views, 100,000 views. Then they just then they just keep going. It's fun to watch.
What other ways do you have that you like to repurpose content from a podcast, or other tricks and marketing tips that you have for people?
Yeah. So our team repurposes the content into like profound quotes or statements from the guest or the host. So it's both. So it leverage them both as the authority on the show, because then they'll both want to share it out, not just the host, but also the guest. Right. And so they're creating micro content from quote graphics and imagery as well. And then there's also LinkedIn articles. You can take the transcript and you can create a LinkedIn article. We do that for our clients as well. So we're going in there and posting that and recommending to start newsletters. You can repurpose that same article and you can create it into a newsletter and send out an email campaign that has the juicy bullet points of what to expect in your episode. The list can go on, but those are the few that we do specifically for our clients. But yeah, you can do a lot. So. And of course, YouTube video, if you are not leveraging your podcast on YouTube, you're missing out because it's the biggest search engine out there. Yeah. So that's our main focus is YouTube first, then audio podcast, then social media content on that side. So because you have the opportunity, especially if you have had a podcast for a while, but yeah, YouTube shorts, all the other stuff we're talking about, micro content videos, YouTube community posting, post graphics in the YouTube community section. Most people don't use YouTube community section. It's just like Facebook or LinkedIn. It's just
Tell me more about YouTube community section. I've never heard of that.
Yeah. So if you go on your tabs and you go into your YouTube profile, it'll be like videos, playlists, community. So the community button, you can go in and share out videos directly. The URLs will populate that you have. You can post polls and you can post graphics and images. And what we've seen actually this year is that graphics do better on the shares, which is very interesting. So they're trying to compete there with Facebook and Instagram on the image, basically share piece. So yeah, it's a big place that people are not utilizing on that side. So it's open to everybody now. So it used to be a 500 subscriber minimum for years, and they opened that community up this year. So it's a great opportunity for sure.
So imagine if you're using that and YouTube's going to reward you for that, because if they're trying to promote it and you're putting things there, then they're going to drive more traffic to your channel.
And you can schedule it out. So there's a scheduler button right on the community post. So you can do the whole thing and you're like, I'm done for the whole week or the whole month.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. That's a super insider tip there. I love that.
Yeah.
And then what about LinkedIn? I used to feel was such a great resource, and now I just feel like it's a bunch of spam in there. Is there still opportunities in LinkedIn?
There definitely is. There's people that, I think the LinkedIn articles is a great way to leverage that, because with LinkedIn articles, it actually sends directly to your email inbox.
Okay.
So it comes right to your email, not your spam, not your promotions, it obviously gives a notification in LinkedIn, but they send them directly to your email. So whoever follows and subscribes to that newsletter, it will go into the email. So it's going into somebody's box where they actually read stuff versus going into your email or your LinkedIn messengers. And everyone's like, hi, Tamara. I know I can help you. I'm like, oh, really? what can you help me with today? They're like, do you have a podcast?
Yeah.
I'm like, did you read my profile? No, just kidding. It writes in LinkedIn and has not glanced at your profile. I'm like, block.
Yeah.
I like archive, delete. I see that quite often. And I think LinkedIn can still be used as an art of communication. Art of communication is one of my biggest components of my life in the way that I build relationships with a lot of people. And for years, before I ever read The Go-Giver by Bob Burg, before I did any of those things, I actually lived by those things. Always give first, provide value, don't talk about yourself. It's not me. It's like, how can you help serve? And you still can do that. And if you can get in front of the right people, you can still have great conversations on LinkedIn and find people, but people like that are coming in and ruining opportunities for people. Most of the colleagues, they'll be like, oh, I don't want to open my message box. What is this?
No, I regret. I don't like opening it anymore because there's just a bunch of, it's like going through, all of a sudden you got a bunch of junk mail and you're like, all right, I got to go through all the junk mail just to find the 2 or 3 things in there that are from somebody valuable.
I think I always share with people, I'm like, why not start a conversation, getting to know someone versus pretending to try to get to know someone. And then at the bottom of the message is, oh, by the way, here's my free gift. I'm like, my love language is not gifts. My gifts is the bottom of the 5 love language. So if you try to give me something for free, whatever, I'd rather pay for something I see of value, right? Yeah. I'm going to hire an expert on that. I was like, words of affirmation, that's the top of my list, and acts of service for my love language. So if people share something of appreciation, you might get me on the top of the message. But yeah, if you come down and spam me at the bottom,
you lost me.
You lost me. But it's just paying attention to the messages. I had a job ad that we just hired 2 gals this week. I actually just started this week as 2 assistant producers. And the only reason that I interviewed them was because they read to the bottom of, they also were qualified, had skills. But right. one of the reasons I hired them was the fact that they read to the bottom of the job ad. I literally at the very bottom, all my job ads, I would say, and if you're still reading this, I would like to know this and to be even considered to have an interview. And so, yeah, I was grateful because I found 2 really great gals and they're just awesome already. And they've already helped out a lot this week for the team. And I'm super, super grateful. But it was cool because I was like, but look at all the 98 applications and you have a handful that actually come in. People, they don't take the skills test. People are just looking for jobs. I want someone that's passionate, pays attention, that's going to be responsive and communicative. But I like to teach our team too, the art of communication. And it's important, especially when people are working with podcasts too. You want to have people that pay attention to the content going out there too. The messaging needs to resonate. You have to have those detailed people. And it's just one of those things that when you're building something like a podcast, how can you market it? How can you be everywhere? How can you do it effectively, data-driven wise too? And that's just a biggest thing for me is just art of communication, messaging, people, relationships.
And to keep that in your business as well as what you're doing for clients to do it out there. And I always tell my tip I read, I think it was the guy who started BlackRock, and he was saying you have to hire 10s. You have to have, because if you're not, then that division
or 11s.
Yeah, or 11s. 11s is better. Are they an 11? I thought that's what we go through evaluation. Okay, are they an 11? Are they a 10? Yeah. I'm going to say, are they an 11? Tamara says they should be an 11.
Yes, they should be 11. It's actually my lucky number, so they might as well be an 11.
Yeah. All right, if there's just one thing someone should do, an action they can take today, maybe it's more than one, but you're hey, if you're out there, if you don't have a podcast, I would say start a podcast. But what is
you took my tip.
Because I knew you were going to do that one. It was too easy. I wanted you to think harder. You've got more in your toolbox.
Yeah.
Today to help me blow up my social media and get more people.
Yeah. I would say, first, onto your tip of starting a podcast, no matter where you are at in your life or business, if it's something that's for business owners that are starting a podcast, you really should figure out that delegation piece of it, right? We said once you delegate out, you start building and things happen, sales, more relationships, more clients and customers, raving fans.
Yeah.
And yeah, just don't ever get stuck in the weeds of it, because if you don't know how to run a podcast, market a podcast, or do anything with a podcast, the only thing you should probably be doing is recording it and passing it off. So I think just delegation, no matter if it's hiring a contractor or freelancer, or depending on the level of where you're at in your business, if it's an agency, have somebody else focus on other things that relate to it, because podcasts can be a great marketing tool for your business. And I've talked to so many people where they're like, it's just a hobby. I'm like, why not? If it's a hobby, it's probably something you're passionate about. And even if you have something that you're passionate about, why not generate revenue from it? There's different ways to do. There's sponsorships, there's partnerships, there's offers, depending on product, services. Share that, affiliate market, whatever it is, there's something that can be sold from that. And when you do it tastefully, it works. And so yeah, just think about like what parts you need to actually delegate out so that you don't get stuck doing all this stuff, because it's a lot of techie stuff. There's a lot of marketing, a lot of creation and behind the scenes. So no matter what level you're at, definitely just delegate. That's my tip on top of the starting the podcast.
Yeah. That's great advice. It's not the how, it's the who can do it for you. Coming down to Brian Tracy or someone that said that. Tamara, tell us where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube, Tamara Thompson, Video Marketing for Business podcast, Instagram, Tamara Thompson Official. Apparently I'm the official Tamara Thompson because Tamara Thompson was taken on there. And then to learn more about what we do, you can go to broadcastyourauthority.com. We have a free download there that shares some 7 ways to repurpose your podcast that could be additional tips added to what I shared. Yeah.
Awesome. I love that. I love that. And I'm going to grab our book here and just put it up. If you can't see, it's called Podcast Authorized, because, Tamara was talking about repurposing your podcast, how to turn your podcast into a book and a book into a podcast. And it goes the same if you have a course. Your course can be your book and your book can be your course. So think about that as repurposing on another level, and your social media. Tamara, you were amazing. I wrote down a bunch of notes here. Can't wait to implement some of the things that we talked about today. So thanks for coming. I enjoyed having you.
Oh, thanks so much. You're amazing as well. Thanks for having me, Melanie. Appreciate you.
Thanks. So if you're thinking about writing a book, if you want to reach out to Elite Online Publishing, we guarantee all our authors will become #1 bestsellers. We only work with a selective amount each year. So hit that author submission button and contact us, and we'll get in touch with you. Have a great week, everyone. Have an amazing week. Thanks, Tamara. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Hey, are you looking to increase your revenue, build credibility, and elevate your brand? This podcast is brought to you by Elite Online Publishing, an innovative publishing and full spectrum marketing company. They will publish and market your book to make it a #1 bestseller. Becoming an author is the best way to market your business. So contact them at eliteonlinepublishing.com today. All of their authors become #1 bestsellers.